morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Loaded up. How about this? Ohio head coach. They'll be in here on Saturday night. Brian Smith. He's going to join us in 28 minutes from now. The Bobcats preparing. It's been a crazy schedule for them to go at Rutgers, then get the rare home host against West Virginia. Really should be 2-0. I mean, the Shiano man with a gutsy call. Otherwise, that very likely would be 2-0. But an incredible win last week down in Athens. He will join us coming up in 27 minutes. Your emails, the mailbag is completely full. My goodness, lots to get through on that side of thing. We will do that at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Paul Finebaum's going to drop by. Then at 11 o'clock, we will beat the house. And I think we kept head above water in week one and beat the house. Did we not, Reese? We're at least above.
I was at 500.
So you're right at it.
Yeah.
And I'm just slightly above. And it's week one. You got to wait it out. Was that while I was on this, I was thinking about that with Coach Smith joining us at 9:30. Where does the win against West Virginia rank all-time on-campus wins at OU?
It's top 10 probably in terms of on-campus wins. Maybe not top 10, top 15.
Pretty good.
It is. It's incredible for the program. I just remember there being, obviously like a late season MAC game, wins against Miami. I think they've beaten Pittsburgh and another Big 12 team. No, I think it's just Pittsburgh in terms of non-conference wins at Peden Stadium. It is up there.
It's as the crow flies, it can't be any distance between Morgantown and Athens, right? It probably takes you a long time to get there because of I'm sure there's no easy way. Oh yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you're on State Route 50 for what probably will feel like forever.
Yeah, and as the crow flies, it's probably not too bad. But when you have to zigzag that way, that's the way it goes. Yeah, I think that's got to be a great one right there. Beating West Virginia at home. We'll ask Coach about that and the afterglow of it. His reward for that is getting to take on this Buckeye team on Saturday night at the Shoe. Speaking of this Buckeye team, you guys have seen the why am I blanking? The Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
There Will Be Blood?
There Will Be Blood. There Will Be Blood. Thank you. I mean, my whole setup was built on that, and I forgot the name of the movie. I'm getting old. So you've seen There Will Be Blood. And if you've not seen There Will Be Blood, you've no doubt either on social media or on YouTube or somebody has shared it with you. You have no doubt seen or are familiar with the phrase, "I drink your milkshake." You're aware of that. And the idea being that in the movie, I will build pipelines that will take oil from you and I will then own it. In other words, I will drink your milkshake. That's the idea. The Big Ten and teams like Indiana and Purdue and Minnesota and Rutgers and Maryland and probably even a lot more, Northwestern, Illinois, Indiana, a lot of them, they have been drinking from Ohio State's milkshake for a long time. For a very, very long time. Since this sport became one in the last 2.5 decades plus, where the revenue has gone through the roof, the rest of this league has not kept up in football. Now, they're better. They're better than they were 15 years ago. I think Urban arriving on the scene had a lot to do with that. I think what he demanded out of Ohio State led to copycats around the league of we've got to be better. I remember his first 2 months here on campus, and I asked him a direct question about the top 25 recruiting rankings. And I want to say there were only 2 Big Ten teams in the top 25. And he said, we got to be better as a conference. We've got to be better. And some people took that personally. Brett Bielema took it personally. They had a coaches meeting over in Chicago, and Bielema kind of went at Urban about it. And Urban then kind of was not pleased at me for asking the question. I said, man, I just asked the question. I don't know what to tell you. He answered it honestly, and he was right. And Bielema knew he was right. And so what you saw an incredible amount of money being thrown into facilities at places like Illinois and in more recent years, Indiana, Purdue. You start to see the money start to flow a little bit for some of these programs, and they're in a better spot now than they were certainly 10, 15 years ago, but they still don't deliver the way that the Buckeyes deliver from a rating standpoint. And ratings equal money. Last year, Ohio State and Michigan were the only Big Ten teams to rank in the top 10 nationally in average TV viewership during the regular season. Ohio State was third at 5.16. Michigan was fifth at 4.01. Now, some of that is something that we talked about last year a lot. Remember this phrase from last year's show where we talked about the SEC playing the hits. Well, the SEC played the hits last year, so they gave you Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Bama. They gave you all those games, and with all of those games came some mammoth ratings. And that's the only reason Ohio State's not number one, because Ohio State just doesn't have that type of inventory on their schedule because the Big Ten, in their infinite wisdom, decide not to play the hits. So you didn't get USC last year on the Ohio State schedule. You didn't get Washington last year on the Ohio State schedule. You got a trip to Oregon, and you got Penn State. But the Big Ten went for a more everybody lifts everybody else up model so that the floor was lower, if that makes sense. The floor for Big Ten ratings is lower than the floor is for SEC ratings because of this, because we play a lot of hits versus non-hits situation. So we knew, and we've talked about this for a while, that there was a chance that at some point the Big Ten, and more specifically, there was some chance that Ohio State would say, enough of it. We're carrying it. Now, I don't think they're going to say it outwardly because that's not Ohio State's style, but they'll let it be known. And I think one of the things that was really frustrating from the Ohio State perspective was what happened with the Texas game and the fact that they tried to move the game tonight, and their partners were relatively willing to do so. Fox was willing to do it on Sunday night, maybe even could have done a Friday night, although I know Ohio State doesn't want to do that because of high school football, but maybe could have done a Sunday night. Texas had the opportunity to approve it or not. They didn't. I don't blame them. And so the game was played at noon. But the bigger frustration for Ohio State was this. We want to be able to have some flexibility in our times, and we're having to prop up noon. Okay, but that's what the money's for. Well, the problem is everybody gets the same cut of the money. So we're doing all the heavy lifting, and we make the same amount of money as Illinois and Indiana. And that's the problem. So this gets us to where we think we're going to go in the future. So in the last couple of rounds of expansion, Oregon, Washington, taking a partial share of the revenue that the league is going to get for several years until they can become full vested members. Nebraska did not have to do this, but Maryland and Rutgers did have to do this. It took a while before they became fully vested members. So that gave you a blueprint of the way to handle this going forward. Furthermore, the ACC is headed for this. They have recently adopted a new revenue-sharing model in which 60% of the league's media revenue is distributed proportionally based on 5-year rolling average of each school's football and men's basketball television ratings. Folks, we've been talking about inventory and content for all these years. Now they're just saying it. If you rate, you get more. Well, you can imagine, from the Ohio State perspective, seeing that and hearing that and going, oh, that's interesting. We're out here trying to Netflix style an NIL model. We're out here trying to keep 36 sports alive. I'll tell you this, if I'm Ohio State, I care much more about keeping my 36 sports alive than I do care about propping up Purdue or Northwestern or Illinois and Indiana in football. I want my money to go to Buckeyes. That's where I'd want it to go. Ohio State President Ted Carter expects conversations between Big Ten members about the possibility of moving to an unequal revenue sharing model in the future. Yeah. I bet he is. I bet Ross Bjork is thinking about that. And good. It's taken too long. It should have been this way a long time ago. Ohio State, I've said this for as long as I've been in town. I mean, this is 18 years I've been saying this. Ohio State is too good of a partner. Way too good. And you don't want to have a situation, or maybe you do, like Texas had, where they were so selfish that it splintered what was otherwise a very strong conference. But at the same time, What Ohio State wants, which appears to me to be to keep all 36 sports in the current model that they have, well, in order to do that, they need what they are owed from this league. And I think this leadership might be the one to say, yeah, we're going to do it.
Feels like it's about time.
That's where I am.
Like it's been almost high time for this to happen, where you get what you earn in the conference. And especially for like Oregon and
oh my God,
Washington and maybe USC to somewhat of a lesser extent. You're looking across the country because you have to at Rutgers and at Purdue, and you're going, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
They're getting how much? And we're not like every school's got their own problem.
Yeah.
And every school is looking at other schools that are getting more money than them in the same conference, not doing it nearly as well in terms of football wins, seriousness of a football program, and eyeballs on their product. And I imagine that those other schools were also with Ohio State and saying, yeah, let's do that. Let's go with that model. Because that's how you keep the big power players happy in the conferences. That's how the ACC is doing it. And it's kind of how you avoid anybody trying to splinter off. Like now this makes me feel better if you're Ohio State of, okay, you can stay. The Big Ten can stay as is right now because it's kind of it's being distributed evenly. Now I think you look to Fox once this media deal comes up and goes, this big noon thing isn't happening again.
Well, we got to at least have flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have discussed this for a long time, right? Ohio State saying enough is enough, and Ohio State looking out for Ohio State's interests. But I will say this, with this new college football playoff era, one of the two things I remember when we were talking about expanded playoffs was, oh, this is going to give more teams more chances, and we're going to get to play bigger games in our non-conference. Well, we saw the non-conference games were going to go away, and now they've tried to find a way to remedy that and fix it. I will say this, if you're tired already of Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Texas, and those teams dominating college football, get ready for a lot more of it.
Well, buddy,
Because
it's
if
only
these
been that
kids-
way for 100 years.
Well, I understand, but like one of the premises of an expanded playoff was more people were going to get a shot. No, they're not.
No, it was never about that, Bake, unfortunately. All it was ever about was more inventory. That's all it is. They don't care about 16 getting a shot against one. They care about, here's more money. That's all a playoff is.
And I don't think Ohio State should care about it. I think Ohio State should be worried about Ohio State. I'm just saying this is going to keep the divide of the haves and haves not even. It's going to make it even wider.
Yeah, it's been very wide for 100 years, and it will stay very wide, and the gap will grow. For some of these, it will grow. There's no question about that. We'll hear Ted. We won't hear it, but Ted Carter does have some quotes from this. We will have those for you coming up next at 9:30. Brian Smith, head football coach at Ohio, will join the program as well. We're off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
IKEA is celebrating 40 years of making home dreams possible in the U.S. Visit us in store September 3rd until the 23rd for limited time offers and experiences like our Ortianda streetwear collection, our new Tilvercott furniture, daily chances to win gift cards, and more. Come celebrate 40 years of meatball-filled shopping, brave attempts at our Swedish names, and the inexplicable need for stylish modern design. Offer valid September 3rd through September 23rd, 2025. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary. See store and ikea.us.com for details. Restrictions apply.
Nobody has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than Toyota. Now through September 30th, get 2.99 APR financing on a rugged new 25 Tacoma. Excludes TRD Pro and Trail Hunter. Or lease a well-equipped Tacoma SR5 for $269 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Looking to save on your auto loan? CME wants to beat your current rate by 1.5% APR. Low rates and no payments for 90 days. Why wait? Refinance today and keep more money in your pocket. Terms and conditions apply. Minimum floor rate of 4.99% APR. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit CMEFCU.org for additional details.
5 words no one wants to hear? You need a new roof. What do you do? Who do you call? How are you going to pay for it? Hey, it's Timmy Hall, and these are all questions that run through people's minds when they hear those 5 words. But if you pick up the phone and call Victor's Home Solutions, your new roof will be the easiest, most hassle-free home improvement project you'll ever do. Victor's has thousands of 5-star ratings for both customer service and high-quality installation. Plus, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. And since no one wants to pay these high interest rates for a limited time, Victor's is offering 5-year no-interest financing with minimum monthly payments for qualified buyers. So if you need a new roof, don't stress. Victor's Home Solutions has your back. It starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. It assesses the exact condition of your roof and what needs to be done next. Set up your inspection today. 866-VICTORS. That's 866-VICTORS or online at victors.com.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
The Fan 2 is on the air. Catch the Bob and Tom Show in the morning and Jim Rome in the afternoon. And Buckeye stuff and Reds 2 in the NFL. It's lots of stuff. You get the picture. It's the Fan 2 live on 1460 AM, the Fan app, and the Fan's HD2.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A summer day for us yet again with the dry spell continuing. Daytime highs will get into the low 80s with plenty of sun, and then for tonight, clearing skies overnight with lows in the mid 50s. We end the work week with plenty of sunshine and light winds with our daytime highs getting up into the mid 80s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 weather impact forecast.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
Pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. Brian Smith, head football coach at Ohio, is going to join us in about 10 minutes from now. Look, this is just kind of where you're heading in the sport. This was Ted Carter to USA Today, Ohio State president. I will say there's a couple of schools that really represent the bigger brands in the Big Ten, and you can see that by TV viewership. I mean, look at what we just went through at the Texas game, Ohio State football opener. 16 million people watching that game over the whole game, and it peaked at 18.6. It's the most watched opening game in history, third largest game ever watched in a regular season or on Fox. So that's what happens when you put Ohio State brand out there. Ohio State is a proud member of the Big Ten, and that's where we're going to stay. You asked the question, or you had the point, Bake, of, if you wanted this to be more spread out. More in America, we like having every team have an equal share. And if you're smart, then you can thrive. So we see this in the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, right? Like, it's not just the dollars. football's the best example of it, where everything's to the middle. I mean, the biggest teams in football this year, Buffalo, Baltimore, Green Bay, these are not marquee markets. They're not necessarily, historically, they weren't franchises that were owned by multi-billionaires who could write checks for anything. That's a baseball, still has to deal with that a little bit. But we like that. We like everybody having an equal footing. That's just never been the way that college football has been run. It's always been a haves or have-nots. There's always been a middle class, and there's always been steerage. I mean, that's the way the sport has been for 100-plus years, is that way. And honestly, the teams that were good 100 years ago are mostly good now. It really matters to certain parts of the country and certain programs. So this is the question that I think is going to be very interesting going forward, because I do think we're headed towards some sort of a super conference model. The question is, how many teams would even be in that? Like, if you were really to think about it, what's the number of teams that really want to play football and are willing to put the financial might consistently year in and year out to do this at the highest level? Now, I know there's probably 100 that want to be invited to this party because they want the checks for it. But you don't need 100. You don't. How many do you need? Is the number 64? Like an NCAA tournament bracket? Not saying a 64-team playoff, but is that the number? Is it 48? Is it 36? If you really went about the task of saying, how many teams in this country, how many programs in this country care about football the way that, or in the vicinity that Ohio State cares about football, and are also willing to put their money where their mouth is, and who can also deliver on their responsibility from a ratings perspective. You have the president of Ohio State referencing ratings and numbers and how high they ranked in this. He knows this stuff. It was at the ready. They're keeping track of all this stuff. How many are there? I ask, I don't know. I don't know what the number is. You can start to break it down. I mean, I wrote down 5 leagues, and I can give you the ones that I think care. But what is that number?
And I think it's interesting what you just said, Bo, that can deliver on the ratings.
Yeah.
Because I think of a program like Boise State. I think they put all of their resources into football, and they've produced, and they've won at a high level. But do they get the ratings? I think that's an interesting. I think that's an interesting case study, because, like, I think there's a lot of teams that really put football first and want to try, and I think Boise State's one of them. But are they a big boy when it comes to ratings, and would they be let in?
Well, are they a bigger boy than Indiana from ratings? Purdue, Northwestern, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Cincinnati. You'd have to go look.
But they
don't
try
know.
harder, at least.
They definitely try harder than a lot of those schools. But are they? They may rate more. They may surprise you, Bake. I mean, they've been a brand for 25 years. They may rate more than we think.
And they've got something that, those schools you mentioned, the Big Ten, don't have. I mean, that's that third window. Like, they can play games kind of later in the evening that the Indianas and the Purdue's, I mean, Michigan State's got to, but it's not like they're thrilled about that. And I wonder, from that fan base, how many are going to gravitate towards a Spartan game that starts at 11. But Boise State fan can do all of that. And so I think that's where you would find some kind of not so hidden value, I guess, in those West Coast schools that, to your point, put a ton of money into football and want to be at the table.
I don't think that's hidden money. I think that's a great point out of you, Reese. I mean, let's just call this what it is. This is the thing that's really difficult. And, Bake, you're going to hate this, but this is the way that these things are viewed. They're viewed from the prism of television, networks, apps, and they're viewed from noon to 3, 3:30 to 7, 7 to 10:30, and 10:30 to 1. When Colorado State did $10 million at 10 o'clock at night a couple of years ago, the television executives went, wait a second. Now, you weren't going to duplicate that every week. You're not going to get $10 million. If we get 5, 4, 3, what if we put Ohio State, Washington at 10 o'clock? Can we get 4 o'clock in that window then? I mean, who's stopping them?
And I heard Bone and Tyvis talking about this earlier, and they were talking about the NFL and what a great weekend they had ratings-wise, and how it was just like destroying like the NBA's best game of last year. But guess what? $10 million for the TV is a huge number.
Massive now.
And like you said, if you can have Oregon versus Boise State at 10 o'clock and you get 5-6 million viewers, that's a win.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. That's a massive win. In today's day and age, with the multiple screens and everything else, I mean, just do the Big Ten. You've got Ohio. To me, when I look at the Big Ten and I think about what I just laid out, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, obvious. But then who? We've always said, like, Iowa thinks the most like Ohio State. They don't have that ratings type of backing, but they think like Ohio State.
I think Oregon's an obvious, right?
Oregon's the no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oregon for sure. Yeah. So I'll be candid with you. So I actually had broke this down. I was trying to get to 64 teams. So I was writing out 5 new conferences to get me to 64. And then I moved, as if like we had like one commissioner, and I moved the old Pac-12 teams back to the Pac-12. Like I got them out.
Well, you're thinking logically, which you shouldn't be doing in this instance.
Yeah, so I got USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon back in the Pac-12.
Good, put them back there.
They're back there, yeah.
Oh, you gave UCLA the benefit of the doubt.
We're in
well,
LA.
It's funny you say that, because that's what you start to do. As I started to go through this, and then you get to the bottom of these leagues, and you write down Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, and I'm like, well, why am I inviting them? What am I inviting them for? It's like you just said with UCLA. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. What am I inviting UCLA for?
And some of those schools you just mentioned, I feel like put their resources more towards basketball than football.
Right. The numbers, it might not be as big as you think. It might be about 32 is what might be the real sweet spot of like, hey, we're going to give it a go. That might be the number. And the thing that will suck about that, if that happens, and I think inevitably it will, is that maybe we will miss out on things that happened like last Saturday night in Athens when West Virginia showed up and walked out crying on the country roads. Brian Smith's the head coach at Ohio. He's responsible for that, at least partially. He'll join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
It's always a good day at the Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship. September 18th through 21st at the Scarlet Course. PGA Tour's rising stars compete, Pub 13 drink specials, and more. Get free tickets today at ncc-golf.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And today we're in my showroom so you can hear how our windows keep sound out.
It's pretty loud in here, Wilson.
Well, Leslie, that's because the window's open. But if you close it like so, well, it's kind of good to let in a little nature.
I think nature just honked at us, Wilson. Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
What John Smiley, Chairman and CEO, wants you to know about First Bank of Central Ohio.
Our competitive advantage is the number of years we've been in Central Ohio and the fact that we're able to make decisions here locally that make sense for the client. At the end of the day, it's the ability for us to say, okay, what can we do to make your banking easier for you?
Experience what it's like to be first at fbcentralohio.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday. We head out on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline conversation with Brian Smith. He's your head coach at The Ohio University, and he will be here with his Bobcats on Saturday night. He will do so fresh off a really spectacular win against West Virginia down in Athens. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. You took over the job last year on an interim basis. Once that becomes the case and you become the full-time head coach, how aware were you of what this early start to this season would bring? Because, my goodness, you're playing your power four, buddy. You're right there, and it's been a hell of a start for you guys.
I appreciate you guys having me. I was well aware. Obviously, at the time, I was focused much more just on the bowl game and, making sure that we're keeping and retaining as much of the staff and the team as we could through that process. But, the Ohio State game was announced during the season last year, so we were well aware of what the early part of our schedule was going to look like.
Coach, what did last Saturday mean? I know you're in Ohio State game mode now, and we'll get into that. But last Saturday night, to have that type of an event on campus, and then to have your team provide that moment for the school, the program, and in your first year, what was last Saturday night like?
Oh, it was great. The atmosphere in Peden Stadium was awesome, and we were so appreciative of the fans that came out to have a record-breaking crowd. And then, I think our kids just play really hard. They enjoy the camaraderie and the friendships that they have together, and they play hard together. So it was great to see them, have the opportunity to be the Power 4 team.
Coach Brian Smith is our guest, courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The Ohio Bobcats will be in Columbus Saturday night, taking on Ohio State at 7 o'clock. Coach, what's been the message this week as, like I just said, they get prepared, your team does, to come into Columbus, to really the cathedral of the sport, to play the top team in the land?
Well, part of it's the opportunity that they have to compete against the best team in the country right now, obviously the defending national champs and the number one ranked team in the country. And then also just that, all the pressures on the other side. And, our guys just need to play free and, trust our culture and, lean on the things that have made us successful, which is how hard we play, how much we care about each other, and, eliminate all the outside noise that's going on.
Coach, full disclosure, I'm an Ohio Bobcat alum and a great fan of the football team. And so I just have such appreciation for how you've represented the university that I love on a national scale. Last week against West Virginia, it was an awesome game. Your quarterback, Parker Navarro, takes Ohio fans on such a roller coaster. What has his week of preparation been like for this game? And just how do you kind of balance telling Parker to be Parker, but taking care of the football?
Yes, that's part of coaching him, and it can be challenging, I think, for people. And those were conversations I had with Coach Alvin early on as we were prepping for the season last year. That the way Parker plays, the style that he has, he's going to make a ton of plays when he breaks the pocket and when he ad libs, and with that, there's going to be some things that could be frustrating. So we have to coach and try to eliminate the mistakes that are made, and allow him to be the person he is and the player that he is, and not try to turn him into something that he's not. So you got to embrace what he has the ability to do and what he brings to the team, and then try to eliminate some of the decisions that aren't always good. And, the 3 interceptions in the game, there's one that was a tip ball. There's one that I thought he just got out a little bit late, that they were able to jump a hitch. And then the other was the one that was really the bad mistake, that he scrambled around and kind of threw it up towards the middle of the field, and was one that, he was just trying too hard to make a play in that moment. So that was the one where I thought there was the most just game management coaching. The other one is just you need to get the ball out a little bit quicker.
Coach, when typically when a team comes into Ohio Stadium, and certainly you guys, you have some data points for this and had played in situations similar to this, but this is a big one. You got a lot of kids from Ohio on your roster, and you come in at night and all of those things. And normally when I see these teams come in here, there's kind of a sense of like the size of it, and then they get into warm up and it's like, hey, this is just football. And then you get through like the run out and the anthem and all of that, and there's juice, and there's a little bit of nerves early, and then it's just football. How do you prepare your guys to ride that wave to get to the point where, oh, yeah, it's just football?
Yeah, I mean, you start talking about it early in the week, just what to expect within the game. That you're already thinking about and expecting the crowd noise, and then we're practicing with crowd noise in our indoor facility. You're talking about what the atmosphere is going to look like. I've been seeing that there's going to be a stripe theme in the stadium, so I'm already kind of thinking about what that's going to look like, what the visualization is. Expecting that they're going to get heckled or whatever, and have already gone through those things mentally. So once it happens, it's already happened to them in their mind, and they can move on and just focus on football.
Coach, as you continue to lead this Ohio University program over the next however many years, do you expect to schedule more starts to the season like this? Like, do you want to see your team tested as much as they have been over just the first 3 weeks of a year?
Well, I think there's balance that comes with it. I think you want to play really quality opponents. You want to be able to play people that are going to be great for the fan base and great for the school. And I think that's what the West Virginia series was. Being able to host them at home, I think, is awesome. And you want to make sure that you're mixing in games that are good for our team and our players as well. So there's a lot of different things that get looked into when you're building a schedule. There's the financial aspect. There's getting ones on schedule that are great for our fan base and our campus, and then things that are good for our players.
Coach, I got 3 little boys, and they every year at the end of school they take this book in, and the book is something. The title is something like "You Never Know Where the World Will Take You," and they have their teachers write their thing. And I'm looking at your path here, man. I've been to Thousand Oaks. I've been there. You played at Hawaii. I've been there too. And I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, like, if I had told you in your 20s that you'd be the head coach of the Ohio Bobcats in Athens, Ohio, leading a win against West Virginia, how does that sit, man? What a path you've been on.
That is the coaching profession, and it is not for everybody. It is a hard life on families, and can be very hard on the coaches. But you have to embrace those opportunities and the challenges and the places that it takes you. And I mean, you're right. I really had not lived anywhere past the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, the majority of my life. And then had an opportunity to come to Ohio and work for Coach Albin. And it was a great experience. Got a chance to develop a lot as a coach and professionally, and, loved the kids, loved the town and the campus, and ended up being a great fit.
Coach, I wanted to ask just real quick about what you had over your shoulders last week in that game against West Virginia. Was it a traditional Hawaiian lei? And just can you kind of explain the reasoning for having that on your shoulders on the sideline?
Yeah, it is. And it's something that my family has done, games of significance. So a lot of times, an opening game for the season or last game of the season. And they can have a lot of different meanings. And so coming from my daughter, it's a sign of love and respect, well wishes for her dad. But, very commonly used in Hawaii in, significant moments. So, graduations, retirements, last games of the season, playing at the University of Hawaii and coaching it for a long time. Always a big game for everybody was the last home game, the senior night. And, typically fans would bring leis for the players. And, if you kind of look up online, you'll see pictures of guys with leis that are going over the top of their head. It just comes from my family, and it's a sign of love, respect, well wishes for the game.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for your time. Wish you good luck on Saturday. You're easy to root for. We're always pulling for the Bobcats. Probably won't be on Saturday, but Reese will be as an alumnus. He'll be in green. He'll be the green spot in all the gray.
You see a green speck in A-deck, I'll be waving to you.
I appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much, bud.
Thank you, yes.
All right, there you go. Brian Smith, head football coach at Ohio, joining us on the Brian Heating and Cooling System fan guest hotline. He's such an easy route. And that program has been. I mean, what Frank Solich laid the groundwork for, and then what has happened since has been awesome. And I love seeing games like this. I love seeing Ohio State play Ohio. And I love that money that's, for those appearance fees staying in state. They help lift up a program. My guess is he probably doesn't use the word balance. He probably is not crazy about going Rutgers, West Virginia, Ohio State to start the year. That's probably not it. But he's an easy root for.
Like truth serum injected into him and be like, the hell are we doing? Hey!
Jeez, wait a second. What did I sign up for? We're going Big Ten.
It's awesome for Bobcat fans, but for the coaches and the players.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of time in that ice tub.
It's tough. And look, it's like what I said to him. When MAC teams come into the shoe, there is that big eyes moment, and then they settle in. And you get back to it. And the quicker he can get his team to that, the better. But we thank Coach and always root for the Bobcats, except for perhaps on Saturday. All right. Oh, you're fine. You're safe. You're safe. The night in sports coming up next. We'll put it all into perspective. They're still playing baseball, among other things. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Chad.
Hi, I'm Chad. I've been taking the low T treatment at Tri-State Men's Health for a little under a year now. I found it hard to concentrate and get my job done and was looking for something to kind of get that edge back. Once I started taking the treatment, I felt probably within the first 2 to 3 weeks more energy. And the thing that really I noticed right away was sleeping. Now I get a solid 8 hours. I'm going on vacation. I'm enjoying myself. So men out there, if you're struggling with any of the symptoms I was, low energy, brain fog, lack of sleep, I would highly recommend you call Tri-State Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Chad. It's true. Low T therapy will likely change your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Did you know right now, the time we are in, that is the best time of year to buy new windows? Yeah, whether you have old drafty windows or the cheap ones that came with your house, September is the perfect month to protect your home against cold, snowy weather. And let's be honest, it's going to get hot later next year anyway, so you want it for then too. Year-round savings with energy-efficient windows from Window Nation, that's one of the best offers they have. But now this month, they have an even better offer. Buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, you won't pay any interest, monthly payments, or down payment for 2 years. And if you're a Buckeye fan, you've got another reason to buy, because Window Nation will give you 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game if you purchase a whole home full of windows. Trusted company, a reasonable price, go Bucks, it's all there. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No interest, no payments until 2027. WindowNation.com or 866-90-NATION to get your free quote today. That's 866-90-NATION or WindowNation.com. Go Bucks.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, USDA Choice Boneless Chuck Roasts or Value Pack Chuck Steaks are only $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Football season is here at Columbus, and Germain Toyota of Columbus has the winning plays. Drive home a brand new 2025 Tacoma SR5, just $269 a month for 36 months. 10,000 miles a year. Or power up with the Tundra, now just 1.75 APR for 72 months. Don't wait. These deals, they won't last long. Stop by Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or shop anytime at germaintoyota.net. Germain Toyota of Columbus. See dealer for details.
Wake up and laugh with the Bob and Tom Show on The Fan 2.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
It says here they've won 5 Marconi Awards. I can't even spell Marconi. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Bob and Tom Show.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet365's unrivaled early payout offer. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 17-point lead, you get paid no matter the final score. Forget the final whistle and start counting that cash. Hold up. You get early payout on parlays, too.
Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in OHIO. But the greatest players and coaches of all time live in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It doesn't matter if you spend your Sundays yelling "Hoo Day" or barking like a dog from your seats in the pound. A trip to the Pro Football Hall of Fame should be on every fan's bucket list. Plan your trip at ProFootballHof.com. The Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion, relive the glory.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
Just had Ohio head coach Brian Smith on the program. First year as the head coach, is the interim. I asked him that question about, you never know where the world's going to take you. Thousand Oaks, California born. I mean, this is, I just pulled up the Wikipedia. This is every job that he had to get to this point. 2003, so he plays at Hawaii from 98 to 2001. He's a center long snapper for Hawaii in that time. Then he's Royal High School in California offensive line coach in 03. 04, he's essentially a special teams assistant at Hawaii. 05, so he goes from California to Hawaii, then back to California at Cal Lutheran to coach running backs and wide receivers. Then he's a GA at Oregon State, so now he's in Oregon. Then he's offensive line at Portland State in 07. By the way, this is every year, another job. 08, back to Hawaii. So he's at Hawaii from 08 through 11, coaching offensive lines and running backs. Then he's back to the mainland at Cal Lutheran, coaching offensive line in 12. Occidental, he coaches their offensive line OC from 13 to 15. Again, this is almost an every year basis. Back to Hawaii. So then he's back to Hawaii for 16, 17, 18, 19. 20, he's at the Palouse, Washington State in 21, for 20 and 21 at the Palouse. Then he's been at Ohio since 2022 with a different role every single year to be the head coach now at age 45. We think about how these guys get to these places and we view them from the perspective of now that they're here, but just ask yourself, what are you willing to do for what you love? And think about that. Just think about that, because I'm going to tell you, that is not, we talk about the millions that are in the sport at the top of it. That ain't that. He wasn't getting rich along that path, man. I mean, that's tough sledding. A lot of those jobs are tough sledding to get to the point where he's the head coach at Ohio in 2025. That's a hell of a path, man.
And I think a lot of the things that don't get, I mean, the families around him, like he's married and they have a child, like that's so much of an ask for a partner in this situation and for a young kid. I mean, he comes to Ohio, he's going to be the passing game coordinator. He's going to be the offensive coordinator under Tim Albin. And then Albin departs for Charlotte. And all of a sudden it's like, well, you're the coach now.
Chance.
Now you're the captain. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, you're the captain now, Irish. Go ahead. But it's something you chase, right? I'm sure he's wanted to be a head coach for the last 15 years. And you're just trying to find the spot where you get it. And now, who knows? They play well Saturday in the shoe. They've had a great start to the season. They play well Saturday in the shoe. And you have a successful couple of MAC seasons. Who knows? Albin's where? Charlotte? I think it's where he is. Yeah, that's the thing that's, I'm always fascinated by the MAC schools. Like, what would the alumni want? What should the MAC be? My contention has always been, growing up where I did and seeing what has happened financially and really from an enthusiasm standpoint at Montana and Montana State, is that when you get to compete for your own championship, there's immense value in it. I've heard a lot of whispers. There was a comment last week from the Mountain West commissioner, or no, it was the president. I want to say at Colorado State or Wyoming, and what he was saying was like, well, what we would sure like is to add the Dakota schools and the Montana schools. So they wanted Montana, Montana State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. They're all in the top 5 or 6 in the 1AA. They want them to come to the Mountain West. I say no. Don't go to the Mountain West if you're those schools. Stay where you are, win national championships, put 35,000 folks in your stands every single night and every single time out and compete for something. I see the value in it. But I'll be candid with you, I haven't been to a MAC game on campus ever. A MAC football game. I have no idea what a MAC Saturday is like in Athens or Kent or Akron or Bowling Green or Oxford, Toledo. I don't know what that looks like. So I don't know if something changed. If they could all compete for their own championship, would the enthusiasm be there? And that's going to be a decision for that leadership. I'm not sure what you'd want Ohio and those type of schools to be long term.
Yeah, I've always kind of been under the idea that it would be great to have a group of 5, a true national championship for a group of 5. And I understand that would be that would take a lot of concessions from those group of 5 schools in the short term. And that's what's so tough about that is a lot of those operate in the red already. And so games like Ohio State, Ohio are so important for Ohio University because that check really props up so much of their athletic department. Like bringing the 110 to Columbus is an expense. You know, taking your team out to New Jersey, have them stay in Rutgers, and then the West Virginia thing's easy because it's at home, obviously. But then you bring them to Columbus. Like these are extrapolate that up amongst the rest of the Mid-American Conference, and I think of MAC schools going to the SEC. It's like that's an expensive trip, especially for Mississippi State if you're paying to get your ass kicked by Toledo. Yeah. But it's so important for those schools, and I wonder if you would have to make concessions in the short term to not play those games if you want to set this up for your own in the future to have a group of 5 national championship and a tournament. Because I do think ESPN would be on board in giving you television dollars. I just don't know if they would be enough, if that makes sense.
I think you could still play these type of games.
I hope.
I mean, you just look at think about what Ohio's doing. So Ohio's playing at Rutgers, they get West Virginia at home, and then at Ohio State, and then they get into their MAC play. So I just pulled up another one. Here's Kent. Kent State. Kent opened this season. They got Merrimack. Then they went at Texas Tech last weekend, lost 62-14. They get Buffalo at home Saturday, and then guess what their next 2 weeks provide them? At Florida State, at Oklahoma. Like, this is kind of where this sport has been now at the MAC level. I'm looking at these. It seems like almost every one of these. Yeah, I mean, I just pulled up Bowling Green, Eddie George's team. They got a 3-game stretch. Cincinnati, Liberty, Louisville. Those are all paycheck games. It's possible that every one of these MAC teams is playing 3 paycheck. Yeah, here's Miami, Ohio, at Wisconsin, at Rutgers, UNLV. Somehow UNLV at home. They got UNLV at home. So every one of them is doing that. They're all having to play these type of games to fortify their programs. Toledo doesn't do that. Doesn't appear. So they've got, I don't think, Western Kentucky's not a paycheck game. So they got 2. They got Kentucky, they're at Kentucky and then at Washington State. So they have 2 paycheck games.
I understand that these schools have to do that to survive. But that makes me even more angry that Indiana's canceling a game with Virginia. That's too much for us. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, just that just makes you realize that those BS excuses are there for these teams, and they just don't want to risk anything.
No, there's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt they don't want to risk anything. I think it is. I think if you whatever they find the line of delineation, wherever that is, the group, because these guys shouldn't be in the 1AA barrel. They're bigger than that. But they also shouldn't be in the Ohio State barrel. There should be a middle that a lot of this should be in. And quite honestly, like some of these Big Ten teams should be in that barrel. There's some Big 12 teams, some ACC teams. There's probably 3 or 4 in each one of these that ought to be competing at a different level, that are not on the level that we're dealing with here.
And I think when we talk about concessions, or at least when I mentioned it earlier, you can also copy and paste that with the Purdue, where they wouldn't want to make that concession of, well, no, you're not kicking us out. Like, we have a contract, and that contract says we're owed this amount of money, so we'll take you to court. Yeah. Like, there's no way we're just going to give all of that up. And there's so many schools around the country that have themselves in such sweetheart positions with a lot of these conferences that don't prop up anything, but they rake in a lot.
More lawsuits. Just what we need.
They can't do that, right?
Just what we need.
There's so many Big Ten schools that have long straws drinking out of the Buckeye milkshake. It's so many. It's unbelievable how many that you prop up on this side of things. You got 30 seconds on baseball. What happened last night?
Well, I can't talk about the Guardians because then they go and do that.
Yeah, that's right. You had bad
They have
luck.
an RBI double in the 7th. They give up actually 2 runs in the 7th, and now they're 3.5 back, and they have a 4% chance per Fangraphs to make the postseason. Reds a little better, 10%. Both squads have 16 games left to play.
The Guardians and the Reds trying to be like golf and suck us back in at the end just to disappoint us.
They will hold me till the very last game, I think.
The last week, they'll win like 3 in a row and then lose on the final day to miss it.
Yeah, by a half a game, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Open up that mailbag coming up next. Second hour, Paul Finebaum at 10:30. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Dormar, your climate hero. When your furnace or air conditioner is broke, we come out that same day. Dormar, home the Tin Man.
Common Man here for Hollywood Casino and the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Timmy, it's football season. That means winning and fun.
Oh, yeah. We have tailgate buffets for all of our watch parties. The 3 apps for $12 special. $25 Miller Lite buckets.
And don't forget the crab legs. That's extended through September.
So reserve a table at HollywoodColumbus.com.
And how about this for new members? Sign up for the rewards program on the Penn Play app. Get a $20 dining credit.
And you get more crab legs.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, crab legs.
Crab leg problem? Call 1-800-CRAB-LEGS.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. I recently bought a brand new Chevy Trax for McDaniel GM Superstore. It was by far the best car purchase I have ever made. And right now you can get a 2025 Trax at McDaniel GM Superstore for as low as $21,995. And with over 40 in stock, you know you'll find the perfect one for you. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet. A century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
It's been over 2 years since Bobby Carpenter had regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. He needed relief from knee pain, but he wanted to avoid surgery.
I thought I might have to have my knee scoped, had some injuries, some lingering pain from stuff that I had been dealing with from years of playing professional football, and things had kind of flared up again. I started talking to a friend of mine who's orthopedic, and he was like, well, try to avoid surgery if you can.
And you absolutely can avoid surgery. QC Kinetics provides patients with state-of-the-art regenerative treatments, orthobiologics from your own body that help heal and restore damaged, aching joints. And we'll let Bobby tell you about that.
It was all of a sudden that one day, a couple months later, I was, let's go jog, let's try to see what I could do. And the more I did, I was pain-free with it, and it was actually a pretty remarkable process.
Before going under the knife, see if you're a candidate for non-surgical joint pain treatments at QC Kinetics. Call them today.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
5 words no one wants to hear? You need a new roof. What do you do? Who do you call? How are you going to pay for it? Hey, it's Timmy Hall, and these are all questions that run through people's minds when they hear those 5 words. But if you pick up the phone and call Victor's Home Solutions, your new roof will be the easiest, most hassle-free home improvement project you'll ever do. Victor's has thousands of 5-star ratings for both customer service and high-quality installation. Plus, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. And since no one wants to pay these high interest rates, for a limited time, Victor's is offering 5-year, no-interest financing with minimum monthly payments for qualified buyers. So if you need a new roof, don't stress. Victor's Home Solutions has your back. It starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. It assesses the exact condition of your roof and what needs to be done next. Set up your inspection today. 866-VICTORS. That's 866-VICTORS, or online at victors.com.
Buckeye Country Superfest 2026 is back for one day only in Columbus, Ohio. Saturday, June 13th at Ohio Stadium, featuring Tyler Childers, with special guests the Red Clay Strays, Lord Huron, Sierra Farrell, Flatland Cavalry, and Caitlin Butts. Register for pre-sale access now at BuckeyeCountrySuperfest.com. Tickets on sale to the general public on Friday, September 12th at 10 a.m.
Hey, Columbus, it's T-Bone for Window Nation. Now is the best time of year to buy new windows. Whether you have old, drafty windows or maybe just the cheap builder's grade ones your house came with, September is the perfect month to protect your home against another cold, snowy winter. And right now, Window Nation is offering their most popular offer. Buy 2 replacement windows, get 2 for free. Plus, you won't pay any interest, monthly payments, or down payment for 2 years. You heard that right. Window Nation gives you the option to pay nothing until 2027. Are you a Buckeye fan? Well, when you replace all the windows in your home, Window Nation will also give you 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game. With Window Nation, you get top quality windows from a trusted company, and it's all at a reasonable price because they know replacing windows is an investment and they want to make it affordable for you. Don't miss Window Nation's most popular offer. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. And remember, you'll pay nothing for 2 years. Hurry, Columbus, this sale won't last forever. 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com to get your free quote.
Dormar, you're kind of hero. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Just 16 games remain in the season for both the Reds and Guardians. Time's running out to snag a postseason spot. Cincinnati's got a 10% chance at the playoffs compared to 4.7 for Cleveland. The Guardians saw their 5-game win streak come to an end last night in a 4-3 loss to the Royals. Cleveland will host KC tonight at 7:15. Guardians are 3.5 back of an AL wildcard spot. The Reds are 2 back in the NL wildcard. Cincinnati won in San Diego 2-1 last night. Redlegs are off Thursday. They'll play in Sacramento against the Athletics on Friday. In college football, Ohio State hosts Ohio University Saturday night at 7. Hear from the head coach of the Buckeyes today at noon on the Ryan Day radio show. In the NFL, Week 2 begins tonight in Green Bay. The Packers host the Commanders at 8:15. You can hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeyes show. This update sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a Thursday edition of the program. Time to open up that mailbag. Hit it, fellas.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, we'll kick it off with John. The subject is football and bands. Good morning, Bo and all. My 14-year-old daughter and I are going to the game. This was the game last week against Grambling. She really looks forward to seeing Biddle and the added bonus of the Grambling band. As you know, they are a unique band and not one a style seen in the shoe. If you have time to encourage Buckeye fans who are not going to the lopsided game, if not attending, get their tickets to high school band member in the area. I know it's late notice, but go Bucks. An avid everyday listener, John Jonty. Thank you so much for that. I'm not sure that I could have gotten that much done on that side of things to get those donated, but it seemed like everything from the band perspective was knocked out of the park. Bake, you were there. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think so. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that they were going to join forces and play well after the game. People had left the field and everything, so that was pretty cool if you could have stayed. And hey, there's going to be a heck of a band show this weekend, too, so I guess the same thing could apply. If you aren't going to be able to use your tickets for some reason and you can give them to some family that has a kid in the band or something, they would probably enjoy this weekend, too.
Reese, they're doing together, right? At halftime? Is that the idea?
Doing a halftime show together. They're also practicing together tomorrow. Their dress rehearsal right outside of Lincoln and Morrill Towers.
Oh, that's awesome.
4:10 is when they're going to be doing that if you are available to see that. But, yeah, it'll be What is Hip? The theme for the halftime show. And as an older human, I think I can speak for the old humans. These two bands are hip and cool.
What is the marching the 110? What are they all about?
So they take a lot of inspiration from Grambling and from those HBCU schools and what their marching bands try to do. So it's kind of I would say it's a good mesh between Biddle and what Grambling had. They are nowhere near on Grambling's level, but they're still one of the best in the land.
Yeah, so the HBCUs, if you weren't able to get to the game, they will take current hip hop and then organize it for a band. That's part of their. It's incredible, and it's amazing. I remember when I was covering Florida A&M, they could flip it in a week, like a song. I remember in the club when it hit for Fitty, it hit on a Tuesday. And that the Saturday game, FAMU was playing it. They were good to go in 5 days. This one from Travis, Grambling game day. I had several on these. Bo and Friends, always love the show and the stories you guys have. Coming down to the Grambling game with my significant other. We don't have tickets to the game. We're going to hang out outside for the festivities out there and then probably go to the casino to watch the game. So there you go. That's a win for all of us. What do you and your friends recommend for a restaurant? We're staying in the Hilliard area. My pockets aren't as deep as yours, so maybe middle-class restaurants or sports bars, they have to have a bar in the rest. I mean, this is big. Come on.
Well, I mean, if you're
the way that you were so sure in hitting the button was amazing.
I knew where you were going here.
I know exactly where this is.
I mean, if you're going to be in the Hilliard area, you can't be like going downtown Hilliard and hitting up the Crooked Can and all of that area right there in the market. You've got the Old Bag there. You've got Odie's, some great little sports bars, sports on tap. So right there for sure. I mean, you can never do wrong with a fun casual joint, right?
Never.
And there's one of those in Hilliard as well. So plenty of options. If you just hit anywhere, you just drive Rome Hilliard Road from 70 down through the middle of Hilliard, you're going to find a great option.
And they said they were going to the casino, and according to Mike and Timmy, they have crab legs. So you can...
I've heard.
Yeah, they have crab legs.
Crab legs? What?
Yeah. I love that they do that from the Kramer bit.
Listen, if you go to the casino and you hit up the ESPN Sportsbook, they have got some great food options.
They're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're ready to go. Loyal listener Greg from Botkins. Good morning, fellas. As a lifelong Buckeye fan, I remember some bad assistant and position coaching hires from basically every head coach at Ohio State, but not Ryan Day. Ryan Day seems to run his program with the Nick Saban mentality. Do your job or go find another job. What made me think of this was before the Texas game, my boys and I were watching, we're talking with Paul Keels outside a Skull session. Paul made a reference to the fact that Laurinaitis is such a next-level type coach. Ryan's hiring of threes might be the best hire while being head coach. Do you think there are a lot of similarities between a young Nick Saban and Ryan Day? Any more harebrained predictions from Ann Arbor Bill? Ann Arbor Bill is silent, radio silent. 2 straight weeks, haven't heard from him.
Oh, no.
Ohio State buried Texas, and then Michigan lost to Oklahoma, so he's been quiet, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I thought he was better than that. I can tell you this. I don't think it's a coincidence the way Ryan Day goes about his business. And, Greg, I don't think it's a coincidence that you elicit Nick Saban's name, because my guess is that Ryan leans on that a lot. And I think it's probably what he's trying to do here. And guess what? So's everybody else. Everybody's trying to do that. Ryan might just be better at it. Look, as if anybody who listened to this show when I was doing it with threes that is surprised by his ability to do this at this level wasn't paying attention. Like, if you just listened to him go about his business, you knew he would be great at this. I think at some point, would it surprise me at some point if James is the head coach at Ohio State if Ryan ever goes to the NFL? Or no, not at all. If he wants to, he could do that in his sleep. He's that capable, kids. So, no, I see that too.
I know that Hartline was already here, right? But
yeah, he was Urban.
Tim Walton, James, like, not only are these guys great coaches, but they're Buckeyes, right? Like, there's no doubt they want to be here. And I love that. I've always loved that in recruiting, and I know you've got to go get the best players no matter what, but I think it's different when you get an Ohio kid, right? Because it feels like they've grown up here. They've always wanted to be here. Tim Walton played here. Hartline played here. James played here. They're invested. And I think those guys, obviously they're great. They're great dudes in what they do, but that's the reason why you're getting wide receivers.
Yeah.
You're getting linebackers, and you're getting DBs like crazy. Those coaches are invested more than anyone else. Not that any of the other coaches aren't. I feel like it means more.
Yeah.
It also is a great testament to the position that was put in place in Columbus that everybody else is trying to replicate, and that's your general manager job. Yeah. And that's it. Somebody like Urban to foresee that with Mark Pantoni and having that infrastructure in place, Mickey Marotti, like all of the little things that they have built over the years have culminated in what we're seeing right now.
Well, I mean, all those I guys, as I call them, like those guys have been there since 11. Pantoni, Marotti, Voltolini. I mean, those guys have all been there. I mean, you have that stability. This one from Michael. The subject is Arch's shoulder. Good morning, gentlemen. Traveling during the first half of the Texas game, listening to Paul and Jim. When I got to the TV around the end of the third, I noticed Arch was doing this weird shoulder shrug thing. I hadn't heard the guys mention him getting dinged up, so I wondered if it was just a nervous tick or something. Did anyone else notice this? Did we hurt him? Was he already hurt? Love the show, guys. Keep up the good work. Well, Sark says no. He says he's not, but I think everybody saw the same stuff. I mean, and then it was worse last week. It was exacerbated last week with that video of him really grimacing as he was throwing the football.
He was just using the restroom, Bo.
I guess.
That's what Sark said.
Yeah, I don't know what was going. I don't know what Sark's answer to that was. That was pretty.
That was him in the bathroom or in the shower thinking, I got a great singer. I'm going to crush these nerds when they bring it up today. Oh, I know it's coming.
He did.
And it fell so flat.
It fell so flat. This one from Jack. The subject is Tim May. He writes, hearing Tim May saying he was from Lufkin, Texas was wild. A family friend I've known for most of my 67 years is also from Lufkin, Texas. Being from Sandusky, kind of wild to have two people from Lufkin, Texas here in Ohio. Jack, this is just now you realizing Tim's from Lufkin? I think he says it.
It's almost like he's contractually obligated to represent the city of Lufkin, Texas when he comes on this station.
Lufkin, Texas, man. That's it.
College football is wild. The football itself is wild because that's what you get.
Yeah. This is a good one from Rick. The subject is home Christmas decorations. Rick writes, Bo, regarding your wife's love of decorating, that segment cut me deep, Bo. You see, my wife doesn't give a damn. She couldn't care less. All it means to her is more work. I would cut off a limb to have a wife like yours, Bo. Just let her loose. It's her turf. You're a lucky man. Know that, Rick. You said it, brother.
Is it true? Is the email, is that like the IP's connected to your house?
Might be my
She's got a burner.
You appreciate
what you have.
Did she just pull a Laura Rutledge?
Yeah, she might have just pulled one.
Halo fan 78.
There are literal. I mean, I'm going to count them. I would bet you, and we're not even to like Thanksgiving decorating yet because she has phases. So we're in fall/Halloween decorating. Then she'll go into Thanksgiving decorating and then Christmas decorating. I would say that the over/under is on 24 pumpkins on the main floor of this house. That's the over/under for me. Couple more that I want to get to on the other side of this quick timeout. Is the Big Ten going to screw with some kick times? And should we change the way we view portal players coming in? We'll get to both of those topics coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Enjoy hot deals on Meijer brand family favorite must-haves all season long. Save on back-to-school lunch basics like Meijer peanut butter, grape jelly, and round top bread, just $1.39 each. Meijer disinfectant wipes are just $2.99, and a Meijer facial tissue 4-pack is only $4.99. Saving a good deal more on your favorite Meijer brand must-haves is a good deal better all season long. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront cost before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. My good friends over at Sleep Better Columbus want you to know that if you're 65 or older, enjoying those golden years, but maybe you're dealing with restless nights, you need to listen up. Are you tossing and turning, struggling with sleep apnea, and that leaves you wiped out during the day? Well, it's time to reclaim your rest with Dr. Mark Levy at Sleep Better Columbus. As a leading provider in non-surgical sleep apnea treatments, Dr. Levy helps you breathe easier and sleep deeper with custom oral appliances, a comfortable alternative to CPAP. The best part is that Sleep Better Columbus is in network with most medical insurance plans and is a proud Medicare provider, so your coverage can work seamlessly with Sleep Better Columbus. And as we head toward the end of the year, don't let those benefits go unused. You don't want to wait to use your deductible. Act now to make the most of it with Sleep Better Columbus. Call Sleep Better Columbus today at 800-MORE-SLEEP or visit sleepbettercolumbus.com. Once again, that number, 800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com for your consultation. Sleep better, live better, you've earned it.
Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
Now
at Great Lakes Hyundai, lease 2 Elantras for $222. That's right, lease 2 new 2025 Elantra SEs for just $222 a month for a 2-year lease. Both your new Elantras come with owner assurance and America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage in Columbus or Dublin or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $39.99 down per unit plus taxes and fees. First month payment, 10K miles per year, ends 9/30.
Your new Columbus home for the Jim Rome Show is The Fan 2.
Catch the live experience weekdays from 3 to 6.
Just one requirement. Have a take and don't suck. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Jim Rome Show.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
The Ohio Lottery's new $5 scratch-off Win Big has a top prize of $100,000. And with the Ohio Lottery app, all non-winning tickets can be entered into a My Lotto Rewards second chance promotion to win Cleveland or Cincinnati football tickets or even a trip to football's biggest game. And that's more exhilarating than a cooler of sports drink dumped on you. So exhilarating. Win big from the Ohio Lottery. A celebration waiting to happen. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A summer day for us yet again with the dry spell continuing. Daytime highs will get into the low 80s with plenty of sun, and then for tonight, clearing skies overnight with lows in the mid-50s. We end the work week with plenty of sunshine and light winds with our daytime highs getting up into the mid-80s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with the 10 Weather Impact Forecast.
Common man, a radio veteran, has a large hemorrhoid. Timmy Hall, a good, clean boy, moonlights as man's hemorrhoid. Common man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are proudly sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. 31 pumpkins. 31 of them.
Is that all?
Where do you store the pumpkins in the off season?
Storage in the basement.
Like how many bins does 31 pumpkins have to go into?
Bins, I'll tell you that. She's got bins for bins. Bins that say bins on them. You put the bins in the bins.
Now, do you throw the pumpkins out in the woods, and then do you have a pumpkin patch because of all the seeds?
Sure. There are several. It's a very valid question, Bake. There are several pumpkins that are actual pumpkins, various sizes. Then there are a bunch of fake pumpkins. We get black and white checkered pumpkins. I don't even know where you get those. I have a feeling they're expensive. There's all sorts of ceramic pumpkins. There's stuffed animal pumpkins. There's pumpkins that talk, pumpkins that walk, whatever you need. They're all there. So her pushback to me is that all of the stuff that she does from the decoration makes a house a home. And and the kids love it. So I come on here and complain, but the reality is it's winning probably.
Just sounded like Forrest Gump, shrimp cocktail.
That's all you need.
All the shrimp.
It's all the shrimp. That's all it is. One for everything. This one from Alex on the emails. Subject, Ohio State, Washington, game time. Uncle Bo and friends. There is seemingly a real possibility that Ohio State plays Washington in the late window. A night game in Seattle would be a 10:30, 11 o'clock kick on the East Coast. The breadcrumbs to support his theory are ample. We already know NBC has Oregon, Penn State in the 7:30 Eastern window. We also know that Ohio State, Washington cannot be big noon because it would be a 9 a.m. kick on the West Coast. Two relatively strong big teams are available to cover the early windows. USC is at Illinois, likely ranked on ranked, and Indiana is at Iowa. Ohio State-Washington was originally scheduled as a night game for Friday, September 26th, tapped up to his brother Scott, loyal listener and recent Hey Guys winner. Washington would almost certainly rather have this game kick at 7:30 local. Thus, with NBC taking Oregon, Penn State for the 7:30, we can assure Fox took the Ohio State-Washington game. It's a fair assumption because Fox has the rights to Friday night Big Ten games, which is supposed to be. Also, Fox seems to get whatever it wants. In this scenario, CBS undoubtedly took the best remaining Big Ten game, USC-Illinois, for the 3:30 window. That leaves Indiana-Iowa. Game on Fox could put in the big noon window while putting the studio show in Seattle for the late game. Fox already has proof of concept. They broadcast Utah-UCLA in the 11 o'clock Eastern window earlier this year. Additionally, we all remember how well Colorado State rated in the late window a few years ago, a game Big Noon attended despite it airing on ESPN. This opportunity seems too good for Fox to miss. What a way to lock us in all day. Get your popcorn and coffee ready. Go Bucks, Alex. That's a lot of breadcrumbs, but I'm not going to say that they won't lead you to a pot of gold. I mean, the one point he makes at the end, because CBS would obviously take Ohio State, Washington over anything. But that last bit he says is on the part about the Big Noon being there and then having the game in that fourth window. That to me resonates a little bit. You got something on this, Reese?
I was just going to say the Utah-UCLA isn't an apples-to-apples comparison because both of those schools that makes some sense to have both those schools kick that late. Ohio State isn't that. And I know somebody might point, well, Michigan State's doing it. Ohio State's not Michigan State.
No.
Like, they're of these schools that will not do that window, Ohio State is that.
I would think. The other thing I don't know is, does Fox have a Major League Baseball game that Saturday night that would preclude them from doing so? Like, you're not in the postseason yet, are you, on that Saturday?
You're close.
I mean, it's right near it, but would that preclude them from having a late nip? That might be the simplest way to get to the bottom of this.
September 30th is when the wild card starts.
So it would be.
So if I'm correct in my understanding of this, Big Noon, Fox gets the first pick of games that week, but they won't be able to pick Washington, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Because the next big game, what did he say, USC, Illinois?
I don't know if Fox has the first pick because they already went through and have done their drafts, some of it.
But I'm pretty
some of it's already known, so they don't get the first pick every single week. They got Ohio State, Michigan. They got Ohio State, Texas. They're going to get Ohio State, Penn State. So they had 3 picks right out of the gates. I think some of this stuff is left week to week, but I don't think that I could be wrong in this pick, but I don't think every week Fox gets the number 1 pick because they've already made some selections before the season started.
So even if, regardless, they can't take that game, there's no way
Fox cannot take it at noon.
Yes, no. There's no way CBS is passing on that at 3:30. There's no way CBS is passing on Ohio State.
No way.
So again, this is not for certainty, but to me, Ohio State, Washington will be at 3:30 on CBS that week.
Yeah, it feels like the only way possible, unless there's some sort of a backroom deal for that. But the other thing I would say, I think all of the breadcrumbs that we just laid out, the other side of it, give you a little bit of pause because the CBS opportunity to put Ohio State at 3:30 is one that is not going to be missed. That's going to be ranked against ranked. Washington should be ranked now. They'll be ranked by the time they play there, is my bet. So that'll be ranked versus ranked. So I think that they will want that game. For sure, they're going to want that game at 3:30. They haven't had a chance to have Ohio State yet. They're going to want them. Plus, it's ranked versus ranked. That's a home run for them. So I'm with you. I think it's 3:30. The other thing is the Major League Baseball part of it. If you're into... You could be into the night baseball world at that point, where Fox already has stuff on big. They have baseball on Big Fox, first pitch at 8:07. That takes you into midnight. So I don't think you have anything to worry about on this. I don't know if Ohio State could stop it if the television networks aligned and they wanted to have it done. I'm not sure what you can do. I think we learned that in the noon start for Texas. You may want something, but they're not obligated to make it happen. They'll work with you a little bit. Obviously, Washington would want it at night. in the biggest way. They would love that game at night. But it just speaks one more time to just how stupid it is that Washington and Oregon are in the Big Ten. They had to do it because you had to have some answer to Texas, Oklahoma, and all of it. But good grief. Like, you added 4 teams in a time zone that can't play at your most high-priced television partner's preferred destination. That's not a good way to expand if you're going to do it that way. This one from the great Snagglepuss. So I had some thoughts on the Oklahoma-North Carolina thing and the parallels between the two programs. And one of the things that I'm not going to be able to read all of this, but one of the things that's kind of the gist of it is the idea that Oklahoma State, North Carolina, and we saw this with Colorado, and we dealt with it here. There is this badge of dishonor that the broadcasters bring up when they talk about the portal guys that are brought in. Oh, well, they got 60 portal players. They've got 70 portal players. They've got 50 portal players. Well, Ohio State spent 20-some million on the roster. Well, Texas spent 40 million on the roster. Like, this is just the standard operation. But the point that he's going to here is this notion of Belichick, Gundy, and that type. And if they are, in fact, dinosaurs in this sport, he writes, if you're bringing in 60, 70 players because you're trying to be a tough dictator, it's not going to work. Deion Sanders brought in 60 players, but he's not a dictator. He's adjustable. So there you go on that side of it. And I think that is it. I think that there are the 60 or 70 guys that are brought in. If you're going to live in that world, this is kind of the way I would sum up the massive transfer world programs that are doing that. Unless you are a new coach into a place, and it's a necessity in order to get to 80, 85 and a point where you can field a team, and you had a mass exodus of players the way that Belichick did, that anybody else doing this is at best going to have very short-term success. And I think what happened over the weekend at Colorado, which I don't know how many people paid attention to this. So Colorado brought in Caden Salter, he was a starting quarterback at Liberty. They brought him in to be the starter. Then they got a top 5 quarterback in the country out of Carrollton, Georgia. They got him to come to Colorado. He's a true freshman, so he's on the roster as well. And they played them both through the first couple of weeks, but it hasn't quite looked right. Well, last week, they went to the 3rd-string quarterback who has been there since Deion's been there. And guess what happened? The offense took off. He didn't leave. He stuck. He was developed, and the offense took off. I think there's a lesson in that. It's easier said than done. But I still think the way to build a program, and not everybody's as fortunate as Ohio State is, but is to recruit a core of players who understand what you're trying to build and then accentuate that core in the portal with need. But minimally. It's the way that the program's been built for 100 years, and it's still the way to do them. This mass swaths of players coming in, to me, not sustainable. It's very difficult to make it to work. It didn't even work for Deion year 1. It wasn't until year 2 that it finally took. And by the way, 2 of the kids he took with him are NFL players. His kid and the best, maybe a top 10 best college football player ever in Travis Hunter. So that all happened. That helps. We'll ask Paul about this and other things coming up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Come into your local AAA Tire and Auto Service and save up to $30 on auto repair with the